I've got spare parts from my last broken heart. Somehow more than what I had to start. Yeah, I've got spare parts. I tried to fix it best I remembered it. I hope it runs when I fire it up, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be a perfect fit, 'cause I got spare parts. Took a piece of you, like lovers often do. I'll try to make it good as new, 'cause I got spare parts. So if you see something that you might need, anything you can use, what's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare parts. What's left of it might be the perfect fit, 'cause I've got spare.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Good evening, and welcome to a special edition of FFN Network. I am your host, Blazeman, with my sidekick to my right, Mr. B. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Not much at all. A lot of things going on in the world, and you may notice for the season I have rerouted my name a little bit here to Mr. Deck the Hall.
I didn't notice. Let me take a look over there. I gotta move these screens around a little bit here because I got work to do. What'd you put there? Back D Halls.
Deck the Halls.
Oh, Deck D Halls. Sorry,
Yes.
couldn't see the D.
Deck the Halls does not mean anything. Deck, it's that time of year. All right.
I agree. All right. So B, what's the latest on the Mr. CEO guy?
Brian Thompson, 50 years old, downed by allegedly believed to be the shooter of a one Luigi Mangione, a master's degree holder and former high school valedictorian who himself wrote his own book review of all things of Ted Kaczynski's Unabomber Manifesto.
Okay, so they know who this person is now?
They know who this person is. They have him
You might
in
want to
custody.
start it off with that.
Pardon me?
I said you might have want to start it off with that. I had no idea that
Well,
they
guess
had
what? We
information. But go ahead.
This fellow is in custody. He apparently was sitting down eating his egg McDreck this morning at 9 something over in McDonald's when an alert astute employee decided, you know what, this guy looks like, and I'm going to try and pick up the phone, punch in the three magic numbers, that 911, call him and said, look, we've got somebody who really, really looks like the picture of the guy you're looking for. And the police showed up, started doing some questioning, searched and found on his person a formed handgun that they believe may have been made of all things out of parts printed out on a 3D printer,
Okay.
as well as
Okay.
other things and so forth. They found a number of things. He was apparently arrested on the weapons charge in
Mm-hmm.
Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's a place you really don't hear very much about. I guess it's a sleepy little area of Pennsylvania that however, it's three or 400 miles away from where the murder took place. And well, now I guess they said that they've had people from New York racing up the pike, headed towards Pennsylvania to get in and chomping at the bit to get and question the guy and try to get extradition services set up to bring the guy from Pennsylvania, extradite him over to New York State.
Right.
In the meantime, there's still an awful lot that needs to be explained, like how did this fellow know what and when and how long it would take for this guy to appear on the street in front of that building at that time?
Right.
There are too many things that are just way open. And in addition to news, apparently United Healthcare has taken great pains to tighten up security, including putting temporary fencing up around the building. Wow,
Right.
that's going to stop bullets. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. But that's what we know so far about what's going on over here. There are plenty of other things, and I believe, we have some video.
Yeah. No, not yet. I apologize. It shouldn't be up there. I don't know why it is.
Okay. Well, I didn't put it there, but for whatever reason.
Breaking news. The jury has
Sorry.
reached a
Go ahead,
unanimous
B.
verdict.
I got you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I believe we do have some video of
Yeah, we do.
the updates for what's going on with Luigi Mangione and the entire New York murder issues, and also what we will be discussing. Well, we will be discussing the Penny trial as well.
Correct. Okay.
All right. So at this point, where we're at, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a video that should be coming up in the queue of an update of all of the things, or as much things as they can speak about publicly, about what they know, and a timeline of the things, how things have transpired. I believe. Are we ready to roll that, or?
Still working on it, B. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So anyway, this Luigi Mangione, a fellow who apparently has has parents both that are still alive, and we have not heard anything yet from them. We do know that there are news agencies that are reaching out, but of course, at this particular time, if you knew, or you had people knocking on your door talking about your child, and we're going to start asking questions about a murder that had taken place, I don't think you yourselves will be talking about that, either with people shoving cameras in your face. So we're going to hope that the news media will show some decorum and step back from this and take some understanding of this.
Okay, B, we're ready. Sorry, pal.
Okay, I hope this is
This is Penny.
this
Acquitted.
is Kenny. Yes.
Acquitted of criminal negligence.
Criminal negligent homicide after manslaughter charge was dismissed.
Yeah, let's check it out.
And if you ask me about this situation, what the jury did was a big middle finger to the judge that sent them back there to deliberate longer over that situation. When the jury came out and they said that they were deadlocked on the other thing, the entire thing should have been shut down, and a mistrial should have been declared. But no,
Right.
the judge turned around and said, well, go back and deliberate about this instead. We want to see if you can if you can convict
Yeah,
them
yeah,
of
yeah.
something.
Find a way to find them guilty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
find a way
you
to
know.
find something guilty so that people won't start rioting or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And so the jury turned around and said, you know what, up yours, and gave the judge a big, and the New York justice system a big middle finger.
yeah, yeah. You're right, B.
All right, shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir. Here we go, folks.
Daniel Penny found not guilty of negligent homicide in the death of Jordan Neely. We were just hearing reaction from Jordan Neely's father and other supporters. The jury reached a decision after more than 20 hours of deliberations. This is Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner, here with my co-host Kayleigh McEnany and Emily Campagno. Also joining us today, Molly Line, Fox News correspondent. Great to see her. And Larry Kudlow, host of Kudlow on Fox Business. Also great to see you, Larry. CB Cotton on the story. CB, it is unfathomable at this point, as two black women on screen, that this has come down to a race issue and not about Daniel Penny's innocence. Like, not guilty.
Well, I can tell you, Harris, the protesters who are here outside the courthouse are very, very upset right now. They're chanting no justice, no peace. And we actually just heard in a press conference from several of Jordan Neely's family members, Jordan Neely's father, Andrew Zachary, saying he misses his son and he believes there is a two-tiered system of justice. But I also want to talk about the moments in the courtroom when we heard this not guilty verdict. For the first time, we saw some emotion from Daniel Penny when he learned his fate. He smiled in that courtroom. His defense attorney started clapping, and this was obviously a very joyous moment for the defense. But for Neely supporters, there was anger. When the defense attorney started clapping, Jordan Neely's father said, quote, "Are you trying to get effing killed?" An activist in the courtroom also started making loud threats, one of them saying, quote, "It's a racist effing country." So tensions are particularly high here at the courthouse. Jurors this morning, they went back to deliberate for a little more than an hour before they went back to the deliberations room. I want to paraphrase what the judge told jurors. He said something to the effect of, no juror should surrender his or her honest view of the verdict just because you want to make an end to deliberations. I hope that helps. So we know jurors went back to deliberate at around 10:15 this morning, and they came back at 11:30 with a verdict of not guilty of criminally negligent homicide. This all comes, though, after jurors last Friday were deadlocked twice on the higher charge of second-degree manslaughter. After they came back the first time deadlocked, the judge read an Allen charge and sent them back to deliberate. Then they came back in the afternoon, deadlocked again. And at that point, the prosecution made a request for that higher charge to be thrown.
And in the whole time, this liberal judge is like keeps, he's on the juror, to get this guy convicted. You know what I mean? It's like they come back and they say not guilty. You know what I mean? And the judge is like, yeah, but I'm not happy about that not guilty. Why don't you go back and try, a little bit something different? B?
Yeah, it's kind of strange the way, the loony left people look at what their idea of justice should be. Well, they don't like what a jury is saying, so you know what? We're going to turn around and tell the jury to go back and change its mind. Well, if the jury can't come up with an honest verdict, why are you trying to do something to influence them into doing something that obviously
to change their
they
mind
cannot
somehow.
agree upon?
Yeah, to get them to change their mind somehow.
Obviously, the prosecution, which this case never should have been brought, the only reason why this case was brought that I can see, and I have not got a prejudiced bone in my body, the only reason why this case went before a judge and jury to begin with
was because
it was one person of one color and another person of another color, and that's it.
Exactly.
And that's what it is.
You leave it to the liberal media to constantly push the race card. Because what would liberals do what would the liberal left administrations, the Democrats, what would they do? God forbid, if everyone got along and nobody looked at color. Like, we could give a shit less. There's a lot of us that could give a shit less about someone's color than the maniacs that don't, you know what I'm saying, B?
People look at a courthouse and they look to the sculptures, the image of justice being blind, with their scales being balanced and having a double-edged sword. And everybody hails that until it's time for justice. And they want justice meted out according to their own set of rules, whether it's for a person's age or a person's color or a person's handicap or whatever. People they don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear what they want to hear. And this is what is wrong in America with the seeking justice. It shouldn't have happened. This case should never have been brought before a judge and a jury, and this man should be out enjoying his life, satisfied in the fact that he did what had to be done. He didn't make the man crazy. He didn't make the man crazy. But he stopped the crazy man, from doing damage to a lot of other people. What we should be doing is we should be extending our hand and handing the man a boatload of thanks for what he did. We have a call-in number. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to be able to take calls at this time. We're trying to get a big snafu worked out. It's 508-974-4231. If you want to program it into your phones, or ffnnetwork9@gmail.com, send a text mail. Hopefully, we'll be able to have this back up and running in about 10 to 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'd like you to consider, we do have the message board. If you get it through one of the platforms, you can send a message, especially through Facebook. I'll be able to see it on the side. Maybe we can discuss things that way. I'd like to hear what you have to say, what your thoughts are about this. Write to me, tell me something, ask a question, make a statement. Am I all right? Am I all wrong? What are your thoughts about this? In plain English, I don't care what the fellow is. This Penny fellow looks like. I don't care how tall he is, the shade of his skin, the curls of his hair, whatever else. He's a person. He's a human being like others. And the man did, being a Marine, did what a Marine does. You see a bad situation, and you take action, and you do what you can to make it better. Did someone die because of it? Well, the man died, yes. Did the man intend to kill the man? No. Did the man want the man dead? No. Did the man and the people did the man want the people in the train car to be made safe? Obviously. Did the people in the train car want something done? Well, that's obvious. And whether or not they helped him out, whether they stepped in to try to help subdue the man or whatever, I wasn't there. I don't know. I don't know how many people were in this train car. I don't know how many people that were in the train car that actually did step up to help. I know there were some that did something that helped the fight. But I'm sure not everybody that were there. Perhaps there were elderly people, or people who, for whatever reason, maybe they're handicapped, or maybe just too young, or they have a fear, could not step in to offer a hand. I understand that. Not everything is for everybody. Not everybody can do everything. But there were no law enforcement. And we have become a society long ago. We have become a society that, well, if something's wrong, we just hand it off to the police, the authorities, and let them deal with it. Well, you're in a mass transit train, and there aren't any police or other authorities that are there, and they're not going to snap their fingers and poof, boom, arrive. What did they do? They did what had to be done. Did the man die? Yes. Regrettable. Absolutely. I don't want to see someone die, especially in a manner like that. But I certainly don't want to see a bunch of people get harmed either. We have the situations of terrorism, and one person crazed like that can certainly take and terrorize an entire car full of passengers. There are things that happen that people just don't know what to do. They don't think that they can overcome this, especially with the things, the chemical aspect of things. People that may have gone out, taking some kind of drug like I don't know, a very high dose of something like a PCP. Nothing you do is going to stop somebody who's wigged out on that kind of drug. How do they know this person isn't on some kind of a psychotic, crazed, drug-induced rant, so to speak? How do they know what these people? And all they know is that they have fear and they don't want to be around it. Something had to be done. Stop now for a moment. Think back. Think about the people that were on this jury. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to think about the people that were on this jury. What could they have been thinking about? They listened to the entire court case as presented. They looked at all of the evidence. They even asked and stopped and sent questions and wanted to see and review some of the evidence and see some of the testimonies and whatnot that had been recorded. And they did a lot of consideration, and they were deadlocked. Some people maybe they thought the man should be convicted, and others thought, no, the man is innocent. Maybe there were some that were convinced of neither and just could not say yes or no on either point. So, err on the side of caution. No has to be said. For whatever reason, these people could not come to an agreement about the man being guilty manslaughter. And the judge, rather than turning around and saying, okay, jury's deadlocked, mistrial. No. Well, here you go. You know what? I know you can't do this. Well, go back. See if you can come back with a guilty verdict for this instead. Which is crazy. But judges have they're allowed to use their discretion. And the judge stepped up to the plate and used his discretion. And why? I think what he wanted to do was he wanted to keep up the appearance that, well, yeah, I'm going to do whatever I can to try and get this guy guilty of something, and everybody will be happy and nobody will be screaming and whatever. The man's father, understandably upset that his son is dead. understandably upset that he will not have the blessing of the comfort and the companionship of his son. We take that into consideration, ladies and gentlemen. I can't imagine the pain that that man is faced with and saddled with. Of course he's going to be angry. Someone needs to be held accountable. His son is dead. But his son was sick. And his son was scaring people. And his son was angry. But his son had to be stopped. So here we are. Passengers on a mass transit train who will forever be changed by this, and a man who stepped in did his civic duty, acting as a good Samaritan, trying to protect others who could not fight for themselves for whatever reason, and prosecuted for it. Yes, this man's life has been changed forever, and not in a good way. And that father's life has been forever changed, not in a good way. But the fact remains, the man didn't take out a knife or a gun or a billy club. He didn't pound the man with fists and kick him and shove his leg across his throat and crush weights on his heart or something. He just tried to stop the attack that was being meted out by a crazed individual. This isn't racism. This isn't an act of hatred. What this man did was an act of love for humanity. And it was wrong. It was wrong for the justice system to criminalize his actions. It shouldn't have happened. And because now we've gone through all of these things, because now we have seen what has happened, the courts, the testimony, the jails, the handcuffs, the this, the that, the juries, and all these things. Now the embers of distrust and hatred and anger and angst are again being rekindled. And the smoldering ash very quickly will be ripe to be returned to another blaze. And God help us. God help us all. We don't need this anymore. When I was a child, I remember growing up in the late 1960s and early 1970s, the race riots, things that were going on. I would see the images of what was happening in Watts, California, New York, things that were happening close to my own home in Connecticut, in Hartford, in Bridgeport, New Haven, Danbury. All of the things that were happening. And that was in the 1960s and 1970s. And now here we are 60 years later. And the fire is still burning. When is this going to stop? How do we stop this? When will this madness be end? When will it be at an end? I'm not harboring any issues. I'm not sheltering any anger or angst. I honestly don't know how to fix this. One thing I can say is, everybody's out there. If you're out there, you're watching me, you're listening to me, you're seeing this or whatever else. I want everybody who is possible, the possibility of being able to do this. If you're a person and you are able to do this, I'd like you all to raise a hand. Left hand, right hand, I don't care what it is, but just raise a hand. I just said a person. I didn't say a Caucasian or a Negro or an Asian or an Aleut or somebody who's French or Polish or from Israel or from an Arab state. I just said a person. Boom. There's no hate. There's no anger. If you're a person and you're capable of doing it, raise your hand. Boom. There you go. There's no reason for it. People say, how do you hate this? Did I make this person? God made the person this color or this way or that way or whatever else. I didn't. If someone's going to have an issue, have it with him, not with me, not from me. I didn't. It's not my business. I didn't make it. In Polish, in the Polish people, there's a saying. It's an old saying now, I'm told, but it's still a saying. This is not my circus, and these are not my monkeys. Same thing. Why am I going to have an issue with somebody else's skin color, or the way that they commune with the Almighty, what they believe in, and so forth? I'm not going to do it. It's not my business. All right, let's talk about this. The racism issue stuff. Let's say I'm going to run a company called the Fuzzwort Corporation, right? Fuzzworts, and I want to make good Fuzzworts. I want people to be happy. They're going to buy my Fuzzworts. They're going to be very happy with them. They're going to use them. It's going to do whatever Fuzzworts do. And what do I want to do? We gotta make Fuzzworts. I need people to help me do this so we can blanket the world with Fuzzworts. So it'll help things, right? Okay, great. I gotta have an awful lot of people. So what am I gonna do? I want to find people that are dedicated to doing a good job and have a talent that can make Fuzzworts, not just make them, but make good ones. And be happy about it and whatever else. If you're going to help the Fuzzwort Corporation make Fuzzworts, that's great. Or maybe you can't make these things, but maybe you have some talent that can help the company run, whatever. Can you help the company run? Fine. Can you help make fuzzboards and make things good so that they work right and whatever else, be happy and whatever? Okay, fine. Does it matter what color a person's skin is or how they pray? Of course not. It's got no function whatsoever in making fuzzboards. Doesn't make any difference. Why is this a concept that people just can't grasp? Why is this a concept people can't wrap their mind around? And I can understand if there are people, and there are people, who have been oppressed for years. Not just themselves, but their race, their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, and so on. And I can understand the upset and the anger and the angst about that. But here in the United States of America, we're not supporting slavery. It's not happening anymore. Why are people still hanging on an act that ended back in the 19th century? Many people they're Christian about this. So I'm going to reach to my Christian roots and I'm going to say, we know this, that Jesus had said when he was on his cross in Calvary, it is finished. It's over. All the past was at that point of his death was paid for and washed away. That's what Christianity believes in. That Jesus redeemed people. Okay. If you don't believe that, that's fine, whatever. My point being is, why can't we just all look at this and say, it's finished. It's over. It's not happening anymore. We're not doing this. I really wish we get the telephone working, 508-974-4231. If you get a chance to call in, perhaps you can call, leave a message at the call. I'd love to hear it. Maybe we'll be able to get these things. Hopefully, if we get our Mr. Blazeman, who I know is fervently working right now and getting this all put back together. I wish we had more, and unfortunately, we're not able to get any more video out at this point. So let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say, have you ever had any thoughts about an idea for what a podcast you might like to do? If you do that, you see the crawl space we got over here coming by. We got the phone number 508-974-4231. We also have the email address ffnnetwork9@gmail.com. Write, send a message to the Mr. Blazeman, my engineer, your idea for what you have for a podcast, and maybe you may wind up having a place on the FFN network where you can go ahead and bring your content. I mean, what would you talk about? Maybe someone will talk about auto repair, or someone will talk about fishing. Someone might talk about cooking, or, as I do, about politics and current events. It's very possible here, and it's a very friendly, user-friendly environment here at FFN Network. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to, get a hold of us. Let us know you got an idea. You say, come up with a concept, and we can help you make it happen. We'd love to do it. All right. Well, all these things having been said and gone on, I'm going to have to go ahead. I'm going to carry the torch, but I'm I'm of the belief that we're not going to be able to get this up on the road, so I'm going to wind up closing this out. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for having tuned in. This has been a special edition discussing things about the CEO that was brazenly killed, Brian Thompson, 50 years old, his life snuffed out by a single gunman in New York City, out in front of a hotel, only hours before he was due to be delivering a speech there, and we shall see what we shall see for whatever else goes on. All right. I'm Mr. B. I thank you very much for tuning in. And if anything more of substance comes out, ladies and gentlemen, we will have more information for you. Tune in tomorrow night for The Way We See It. And then on Wednesday night, you have my show with Mr. Politicking with Mr. B. Tomorrow night, The Way We See It, we're going to have some more things and everything going on about all these current events, especially they have the things that are going on. We'll be up to date on what's going on in Syria. And our own President-elect Donald Trump, who said, this is not our fight. Leave it to the people that are there. Don't get mixed up into it. And we'll see how things go with that. All right. I'm Mr. B. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this, share it. Tell your friends about it. And again, if you got an idea for a podcast, something you'd like to do, even if it's playing music, let us know. We'll see you all again soon, everybody. Thanks very much. Take care and have a great night.